We're not used to.
We're not starving.
haven't
We're
had
good.
this since I've been at Jamestown and Charter.
Yeah, this is awesome.
But this is great to even.
Okay, we'll let you do that. All right, it's 6 o'clock. Y'all ready to get started?
Yes.
I'm calling to order the special commission meeting of January 13th, 2025. Mr. Ladson, would you please begin?
I'm gonna lead us into prayer. I'm a Baptist, so it's gonna be about 15 minutes. Our Father, we come to you thanking and asking you for the opportunity for us to assemble once again. Father, we want to thank you for allowing us to come together collectively and collaboratively to do the people's business. Amen.
Amen.
Pledge allegiance.
To the flag, the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Freedom of Information Act, please.
In compliance with the Freedom of Information Act, notice of this meeting and its agenda were provided to all news media and persons requesting notification.
And roll call, please.
Commissioner Brown Crouch, Commissioner Cantrell,
Present.
Commissioner Clifford,
Here.
Commissioner Grant,
Yes, here.
Commissioner Ivory,
Here.
Commissioner Ladson,
Present.
Commissioner Platt.
Okay, well, let's get started with the Jamestown PSD organizational review with Ashley Kelly.
All right. Thank y'all. So, even though we only have one new commissioner, this training is really good refreshers. And so a lot of this, especially towards the end, are things that the municipal association, for example, would go over every year with elected officials. So they're just good refreshers, good reminders. This is very informal, so if there's any questions, please stop and, we'll address those. But having said that, I am gonna keep this on a time frame, keep it moving. So I will be watching my clock. Respect everyone's time. So, this is not working. Get a little closer.
Ashley, this is great because we didn't get this. Not like this, I should say. So this is great and a refresher for all.
Hopefully,
Yes.
some of it will be new.
I think it got moved off of the presenter. I think it got moved off the presenter.
I can't figure out Sean's fancy.
You got
Do that, right?
That is really good. Here we go. Thank you. All right, so, we're gonna go over the organization in each department, and each department head is gonna come up and give you a lay of the land. And then Tim and Chip, our attorneys over here, will introduce themselves and go over our enabling legislation and the bylaws. And then after the department heads come up, we're gonna have a break, then we're gonna eat dinner. Y'all make your plates, and then I will just keep rolling. So, and then we'll go through the second half, of the presentation. So, a little overview about the district, and I will email you all this presentation. As you all are the face of the PSD and also its ambassadors. And so having some of this bite-sized information is good when you're out in the public speaking to folks. But the district was established in 1961 as a special purpose district of the state. We are, of course, governed by a 7-member commission with staggered terms. So 3 of you were just elected, and another 4 will come up in 2 years. We provide fire, solid waste, and wastewater to all of our customers. So personnel-wise, we have 103 budgeted positions. Not all of those are filled right now. We kind of hover around 86. 48 of those positions are in fire, 19 in solid waste, 18 in admin, and we'll go through what all is included in admin. 15 in wastewater, and then 3 in fleet management. So we have a resident population of over 18,000 citizens that we serve here on James Island. And so the land in the land territory is a little over 12 square miles. So this is really the part that gets confusing for even people who've lived here a very long time. Our map. So, a little bit of history, the reason it's like this is, you know, there's history of the city of Charleston annexing onto James Island. The first town of James Island was incorporated in 1992. Since then, there have been 4 total towns. The town of James Island is now in its 4th and final incorporation. That happened back in 2012. So every time the city of Charleston sued the town of James Island, a little piece of the town went away. They would annex some every time the town was dissolved. And that's why you see this mixed jurisdiction here. So even though the public service district covers unincorporated Charleston County and also all of the town of James Island. So on this map, all of the yellow is unincorporated. And this red line sort of denotes the town of James Island's boundaries. And just to give you a little background, you know, the town of James Island's boundaries used to be larger. So where you see a lot of the yellow down here and down here, a lot of that, all of that used to be in the town of James Island's jurisdiction. So when they incorporated back in 2012, they had to make their boundaries smaller so as not to get challenged by the city of Charleston. So, I said that to say we, you know, oftentimes get confused with the town of James Island. Just at the groundbreaking last week, who was it? The lady with rural infrastructure. She went up to the mayor of James Island and said, "Thank you so much for inviting me here today." You know, so it's a lot of people. It's just kind of interchangeable, but we are a separate organization. We provide services to all of the town of James Island and to the unincorporated Charleston County. Most of the residents on James Island are in the city of Charleston's jurisdiction. So there's about 38 to 40,000 people on James Island. And then again, so it's like 11,000 is in the town, like 35, well, I guess it's more than that, we've got 18. Yeah, and then some of that's unincorporated, and then the rest is city of Charleston jurisdiction. And city of Charleston jurisdiction, they have Charleston water systems for both their water and their wastewater. Whereas our residents that are in the public service district have Charleston water systems for their water only. All right, I'm going to let come up for this part.
Chips used to not to be in here and doing anything. You're a stick temper here, huh?
He came for the pizza.
All right, pizza break? Okay. So I'm just going to briefly talk about the enabling legislation and the bylaws. So the James Island PSD was a creature of the legislature back in 1961. It was Act number 498 of 1961. Special purpose districts, the majority of them were created before what's called home rule, which was adopted around 1972. There were a lot of kind of special purpose districts that kind of were carved around areas that municipalities were maybe not providing services, and James Island PSD was one of them. And what's a little bit different with a special purpose district compared to like a municipality is there's certain types of services that are provided within the act. And so James Island PSD, just like other special purpose districts, are kind of confined to providing the services that are within that enabling legislation. So for instance, in that act, the the PSD is responsible for sewer and sewer disposal, fire protection, street lighting was one of them, and that kind of got street signs. I think got incorporated into that at some point. Yeah, but then also garbage disposal was the fourth one, and within those services, there's a bunch of powers that are delineated for the James Island PSD, and that's in section 5. Obviously, all kind of powers that are associated with running those systems, but then also certain governmental powers, like as the existing commissioners know, the power of eminent domain for one of them, which is condemnation. So you can essentially take property. Essentially, you have to do just compensation, but that's a governmental power that's provided to James Island PSD. Also, contracting with other entities, and there's a lot of specific powers, and I'm happy to provide any of this enabling legislation, the act itself, but then there's a lot of different laws that were also adopted after that 1961 act that are specific to James Island PSD. A lot of them have to do with, tax millages and things like that. But some of them actually had to do with how the commissioners, when they were elected, and where they can reside and all that, those were changed also through certain legislative acts. So I'm happy to provide that to any time if anybody wants that. It's fun reading. And then also within, of course, an important one within that enabling act is the ability to levy taxes. And you'll hear more about that, of course, as the year goes on, and I know you all have. And then the adoption of an annual budget, that's also provided for in the South Carolina Code. That's a requirement that we adopt a budget every year, and it's a responsibility. And there'll be lots of presentations throughout the year that you'll hear about that. It's a process, but it's a good process, and there's requirements in the statutes about providing notice to the public, and so they'll have the opportunity. So if people have any issues with a budget, they can come in and they can voice those concerns during the process. And that's essentially the enabling legislation in a nutshell. But again, if you'd like any copies of those, I'm happy to distribute them to all. And in terms of the bylaws, I think those were most recently revised at the end of, was it 21? Let me see. I think it was 21. Yeah, looks like it. End of 21. And so basically what the bylaws are is they dictate how the commission is run. A lot of them are procedural rules. Some are not. But it's provided for if it's not contained within these bylaws, we defer to Robert's Rules of Order. In terms of Robert's Rules of Order is very specific in terms of requirements and crazy, Old English motions and things like that are just kind of arcane, but they work. But in terms of the majority of meetings, all you really need to look to is the bylaws. Most of it's contained within there. And it talks about how meetings are run. It also has some of the basics in terms of meetings, agenda notices, so we're compliant with the Freedom of Information Act. It talks about elections, which we just had recently. It also talks about committees, which at the next meeting, I don't know if that's going to be on the agenda, but there's several different committees that are delineated for the PSD, and that's a good way of getting work done, kind of in a more, it's not an informal setting, but it is in a way, because you can kind of talk through things and then move that to the commission once it's kind of been vetted, so it doesn't take up so much full commission meeting time. And then there's several different committees that have different roles. I had those tabbed here somewhere. We have Ways and Means, which is a committee of the whole. Administrative, Fire, Emergency Prep and Safety, Wastewater, and Solid Waste. And with respect to those committee chairs, one of the things I know that's on here is kind of, I don't know, I guess I needed to switch slides here. There we go. Relationship with the public and district staff. So that really is contained kind of towards the end. It's Rule 30 and Article 4, Rule 30 and 32 specifically. Rule 30, I mean, if it's okay to want information. Obviously, sometimes there's questions, and that's what a good commission is, always asking questions. But commission members may request information from department heads. Committee chairs are encouraged to discuss items of importance with their department head assigned to their respective committee. But as a courtesy, the district manager should be informed that such a meeting discussion has or will take place. And essentially what that is, I mean, I guess if there's a fire committee and, there's some questions that come up, the chair of the fire committee, it's fine to go to that department head and get that information, but then also just communicating to the district manager that there's this discussion or request for information or something like that's occurring. Just so that there's not a lot of too much side communications, because the commission is supposed to act as a body and not as one individual. That's the key. And with respect to that, a little bit off topic, but attorney-client privilege as well. We represent the commission as a whole. So when we talk to you in executive session, it's going to be because you're one, essentially one body, one client, even though you're a bunch of different people. And that's how you also make decisions, based on a majority vote. Rule 32 talks about requests for information specifically. And that's kind of when there's a need for kind of special reports or research time, that should go to the chair of the commission, who will then relay that to the district manager, just because sometimes that, I mean, if there's something that's going to require a lot of time, obviously, sometimes things can be short-circuited. And a parallel to that, when people send Freedom of Information Act some requests, sometimes they don't really know what they're asking for. And, it's kind of like, well, if we ask for this, it can get short-circuit everything rather than having to compile a big report or something like that. So that's helpful. I think that probably covers most of it. I mean, there's a lot in the bylaws. There's 18 pages. It's not huge, but it does cover most of our meetings. So I think that's probably pretty helpful. Again, we did some revisions to the bylaws in 21, and I think there might have been a little bit before that too. So we tried to clean up some of the ambiguity in there. But again, if it's not addressed in there, we go to Robert's rules. So, have any questions on that material?
I have one question.
Absolutely.
You mentioned something doing an enabling act about street signs and lights.
Yes.
That,
So I think, from my understanding, and that was before we came on board, street signs have gone back to the town. Is that they took that back over?
please elaborate, yes.
So what happened with the street signs is, yes, they had, through the cost share agreement, that is now one of the services that we have delegated, not necessarily delegated, we're sort of paying them for that service now, and they're in charge of street signs. And really, in both scenarios, what was happening when the town was doing street signs and when the public service was doing street signs, and y'all may know better than me, but I'm pretty sure they were just being ordered from Charleston County Sign Shop.
Mm-hmm.
So, is that what y'all remember? Is that what?
We went to a public company, and we ordered the signs.
Oh, you did? Okay.
I think Charleston County was putting signs up too the same time. Everybody was putting signs up. Because I'd go to one and say, oh, they beat me.
And what about street lights?
So street lights, that must have been an amendment with the enabling legislation, because now that is franchised to the jurisdictions. So that the town of James Island has oversight, they have the franchise with Dominion to maintain the street lights. They actually pay they pay for streetlights throughout the town, and they have a 1% franchise fee on your Dominion bill. And basically, that 1% pays for the operation of streetlights, and it kind of cancels each other out.
Okay.
And that's a big difference from, 1961, obviously, when the
Yes.
Enabling Act was, I mean, now all municipalities do that franchise agreements in terms of something like that, just because, as you can imagine, having street lighting is a little bit outside of the rest of the services.
That's what I thought.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
All right.
And again, there are a lot of amendments, even related to the PSD and some of that legislation. So I haven't gone through to see if that was removed, but I don't think it was. But my guess is it was probably just like you said, a franchise agreement. So
Okay. I
Any
was
other
just ready-
questions?
I was ready to send you a request for some more streetlights on my street.
Yeah, we definitely need some.
Easier dealing with Dominion.
yes,
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Tim.
Like,
All right.
Yes, that would have been great.
yeah, it's dark solid like that.
Chip just wants to get cozy.
All right, let's go over all these departments. So first, this is just sort of an overview of what we call the leadership team. So all of the department heads, we meet together. Of course, we come to the meetings and interact with you all. And we meet probably at least once a month. Like tomorrow morning, we have a leadership team meeting to kind of get the budget kicked off. And so probably during budget season, we'll be meeting more frequently. We meet together during hurricane season very often, and things like that. So the way the organization is set up is, the chair communicates with me, and then I supervise the department heads listed here, and you'll hear from all of them tonight. And this is the administration department. So within administration, we also have human resources. We have finance as well. And I'm not going to go into too much detail. I will leave that to Ed when he comes up here. But I'm going to turn it over to Tamara now. And she is going to go through our strategic plan, give you an overview of that. I was like, what did I do? That's the name of it.
Okay, so I'm going to be going over our strategic plan, and this is basically a 4-year plan that consider it like a roadmap for achieving our long-term goals. So I want to give you a bit of an overview of how this plan came about. Because Ty has to put it in the bottom right. There we go. So this is an overview of our process. We started out in May of 2022. There was a exercise conducted and led, and where senior staff, we ranked projects and identified the most critical needs of the district, and decided which one of those were the most effective in operating and best serving the residents. They were divided up into 4 categories: high impacts within the staff, low impact within staff's control, high impact not within staff's control, and low impact not within staff's control. So we took all that information and we moved forward with advertising for a professional facilitator. The commission selected, staff presented information where the commission approved the recommendation of place and main advisors. Joe Borgstrom was the consultant there, and he helped us put this plan together. Then we moved forward with a public meeting and community survey, and that was, I thought, was a really great way to involve the community and the public. We all got together and worked together. We met at the town, as a matter of fact, and we sent out the surveys at first, and then we gathered all that information, condensed it, met at the town of James Island we had. big sticky notes on the walls, and we all got together, put our ideas together, and came up with a plan. And that happened between August and October of 2022. So the participants listed each of the items in the SWOT categories, which stands for SWOT: strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. And we used a weighted ranking system to identify the 3 most important items in each category. After we got all that information, we had a total of 94 surveys in all, and even staff participated in it. Then we got back together again, the commission got back together again in October, and they participated in a workshop where they ranked their most pressing issues that we had gathered. We reviewed our vision and mission statements and our core values. And as a result of that, we drafted a plan. So what I want to touch first on are the strategic goals and what these goals mean. So goal number 1 was to improve communications, and this is what we came up with as a result of all of this was the actual meeting, the picture isn't as clear. This is what we came up with, our 6 strategic goals as a result of all the meetings and going back and forth and the planning and getting with the community. Improve communications. We needed to present to the public who we were, what we do, and how we do it. Like Ashley mentioned before, there's so many organizations, governments on the island. A lot of people don't know who we are and what it is that we do. Number 2, we need to make capital improvements, invest in the facilities, replace and improve physical spaces where we work. Number 3 was to invest in machinery and equipment, replace, upgrade, implement the tools and the systems needed to improve efficiency and our customers' experience. We moved on to retain, recruit, and develop talented staff. Our goal here was to keep high quality and recruit, develop new talent to carry out the important work that the district does. 5 was to improve internal operations, and that involved identifying areas for improvement in the day-to-day operations of the district. And then 6 was to improve relationships with partner organizations. That was recognizing that we do not exist in a vacuum, and it is important to have solid professional relationships with surrounding governmental entities. So we're currently on the fiscal year 25 plan. That's the plan we're in now. Our fiscal year is July 1st to June 30th of the following year. So last year was our first year with this plan, and here's some of the things that we achieved in fiscal year 24. We hired a social media manager, improved our online presence, conducted our first live stream meeting here with this enhanced equipment, reviewed and updated the wastewater disconnect procedures. We revised our procurement resolution, renovated restrooms in a solid waste building, 2% COLAs for all employees in addition to performance-based merit increases, hired a human relations contractor consultant, implemented several safety training initiatives, upgraded our file server, and also the rate consultant completed a 5-year rate study. So that's a look at what we accomplished last year. Moving forward to where we are right now, these are our current initiatives that we're working on and that is actually in progress. We have a total of 11 initiatives that are in progress. 2 have not started yet, and we've completed 3. So running along this, our website redesign, we're actually working on that. We're in progress. We have a kickoff meeting this week. Our vendor consultant is Civic Plus. Fire station number 2, of course, we're still analyzing the budget for that project to reduce costs, and we're preparing to begin construction with that. We got the SCIP grants at Artillery Point. Those are mainly CWS customers, so we're waiting on their direction for that project. The Julian Clark neighborhood up on the Hill Road in Oak Point. We have the Oak Point and the Up on the Hill projects. were removed from the grant due to excess expenses and lack of participation from residents, and we will be looking at future funding for these areas through some other programs, so that's not a done deal. The Clarks Point project, of course, we just had the groundbreaking ceremony last week, and of course, construction has begun there also. We got the Harborview Road redundant force main partnership project with Charleston Water. The materials have been delivered this month, and construction is scheduled to begin soon. And on these projects, the wastewater director will go more in depth about the projects. I just want to give you an overview of them. Pursuing grant funding opportunities, we're working to create the James Allen Foundation, which was a 501c3, to pursue more grant funding opportunities. These are all in progress. Oh, and also I wanted to mention the goals that I spoke about prior to this. Each category is assigned a goal. So for instance, website design, that goal accomplished improving communication, which is number 1. Number 5 was improving internal operations, and 6, improving relationships with partner organizations. So we identify which one of the goals go with each of these objectives. We have the enhanced safety trainings, employee events. That satisfies goals 1, 4, 5, and 6. And so far, we've had hands-on CPR training by our fire department. Our fleet director just finished some electrical chassis training at Pierce. And we have coming up in the spring our team building event, which is held out here in the Bay at the fire department, where you all are invited and we participate in a team building event. We have the fuel pump that's being replaced. We're waiting on permits for that. That's in progress. Replacement of engine, the 2018 fire engine, that's in progress. We've already paid a deposit to get in the production line for that. Pump Station 17 upgrade that was originally outsourced, originally going to be handled in-house, but now it's being bidded out mid-February. The budget for Phase 6 of the sanitary sewer evaluation system, we're preparing to advertise and bid that project out this month. So we've made a lot of progress. We continue to make progress. We have Fire Station number 4's bathroom rehab. That has not started yet. The standardized package of financial policies, we haven't begun that yet, but however, we have completed the capital lease projects. All of these vehicles, we've already received ladder trucks, SCBAs, dump truck, side loader, fleet, F-250s, wastewater F-250, camera truck. So that was a huge accomplishment. Some of these items we received sooner than expected. We have the HR director, which was another huge accomplishment. We hired our HR director, Star Ross, in October, and we acquired the wastewater vac truck just this month. So here's a look at the 3 things that we've completed, 2 we haven't started, and we have 11 in progress. So thanks to the efforts of our team, we have making great strides here at the James Allen PSD. Any questions? Great strides, yes. Any questions? No? Okay, so I'll give this report probably like quarterly or every couple of months, give you all an update, let you know where we are and what we're doing. Thank you.
So thanks to Tamara for keeping us on track. So I talked about the leadership team meetings, and that's another thing that we do in our leadership team meetings is we will go over the strategic plan that this commission adopted and see where we are on things to keep it moving. So it's not just a plan on a shelf collecting dust. All right, Ed, you want to come on up? Give us an overview of finance departments.
Good evening. In just over 2 weeks, I'll have my 4-year anniversary here. As such, as background, I'm a certified public accountant and certified internal auditor, which means I do a lot of analysis and reporting. My team has a variety of responsibilities and tasks that we do daily, weekly, and throughout the year. One team is customer service, And the bulk of their work is providing the billing and processing payments for the wastewater department. They also process the tax deposits that we get from the various taxing jurisdictions, which is basically Foley, the county, and the city of Charleston. And they also are the front line answering questions for taxpayer and customer inquiries. Next, we have general accounting. And the big picture there is that we monitor and report on the budget activity. So for fiscal year 25, in the general fund, we have $11.5 million budget that we're reporting on each month to you. In wastewater, we have a $25 million budget for FY25 that we're reporting on. We also pay the invoices for the district. And over the past 12 months, accounts payable has paid approximately 2,700 invoices. Payroll has processed approximately 2,500 direct deposits. And procurement compliance, we have a resolution to ensure that we're getting good goods and services at a fair price, requiring quotes and different protocols that are mandated by the state as well. Other projects that are either ongoing or recently completed are procurement resolution revision, wastewater resolution revision, employee policy manual revision, signal point security camera updates, and telecommunication updates. I'll field any questions.
All right.
All right.
Thanks, Ed. Who's up next? I think Star, you're up, right?
Hello, everyone. I'm Star Ross, and I joined the district in November, and I've just jumped right in. We've been very busy with departmental restructuring, recruitment, and employee relations. And HR is a two-man team here, and I work with a fabulous colleague, Melvina. I hope you guys have met her. She is really a rock, and we work all day together, and she really shares a lot of information, so I'm getting to know a lot of our processes. Coming up, we are working on a team building activity in the next few months, and we're also participating in a website update. Today, we actually had a virtual managers orientation with First Son Employee Assistance Program to refresh everyone on the benefits of that group. And I'm excited to see what's up in the next year with employee engagement and organizational excellence. So I'm excited to be with the district and help the district and its employees. Does anybody have any questions?
I have a question. With the employees, the relationship that you're establishing, are you giving them like a monthly time or whenever they need, if they want to come in and speak with you on for any concerns?
I'm open door. Anytime anybody wants to come in and speak with me, they are more than welcome. They don't have to schedule a time.
Great. All
I have a
right.
question. On the individual pay, accountability for all the employees, have you looked back through their records to make sure everything was okay?
That's a great question. That is something that I will definitely put on my list.
One of the things Star is going to be working on, and it may be something we need to look at a consultant, is really kind of reviewing our pay plan matrix. But before we can do that, we need to update the each job description, and that's something that Star has already begun and already has updated a slew of them.
Absolutely.
So we are well on our way with that.
Any other questions?
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Star. Okay. You've got 3 slides, Chief Davis. So I have a slide for each shift. You have A shift, B shift, and C shift.
I thought you were going to say 3 slices.
I know, I think I'm starting to get hungry.
Barely get in my uniform pants now. So my name is Mark. It's good to be here. Today is my 1-week anniversary. So yeah, I've made it this far. A little bit about your fire service here on the island. We just like we said earlier, there's 48 positions. What's important for me is to let you know is that 45 of those are people who come in every day, work a shift, and get on a fire truck that are truly in that response mode. So here we have about 3,064 calls a year for service out of our 4 fire stations. Now, presently, we're cohabitating with the city of Charleston because one of our fire stations is getting reconstructed. So we'll be staying there, but that will not affect our responses any. But we are an all hazards agency. So our personnel are trained in everything from not only fire suppression, fire inspection, and fire prevention, but we also run basic medical calls, and we also do technical rescue or hazmat response. So we're truly, the healthcare and the safety net for the community. When they don't know who else to call, the fire service can completely come and take care of it, and we'll be able to provide direction for you on that. So I think we talked about several of the projects. We have one of our apparatus on order. It was wise on your part to go ahead and place that truck into the production run because fire trucks ever since COVID are running behind by about 3 years where it used to take 10 months to get them. And obviously we work our equipment pretty hard because we're basically running like a metro fire department. The bathroom remodel and then obviously the construction on Station 2, which we have an upcoming meeting on finalizing those plans. So that's what I have. I've learned a good bit. I have a very talented workforce and I've gotten a huge amount of support from not only the commission, but from the staff at the district. So if there's any questions I can answer with my 1 week of knowledge, I'll be more than happy to try to do that.
I have one for you. Which city station are we cohabitating with?
Station 7 at Stone Post on Fort Johnson Road. So,
How do you like the area?
so I actually lived here for quite a long time. I retired from the city of Charleston.
Okay.
So before I moved to Lexington, so I lived at Harbor View and Fort Johnson and pretty much all over James Island for many years.
Okay.
I love the area.
Are you back here on the island?
Not yet. I'm saving my pennies. Houses have gone up just a little bit. I have 3 teenagers, and they're finishing high school, so one of them's will graduate in June, and then my family will move back from Lexington.
Okay.
Great, thanks,
All right,
Chief.
thank you.
All right, so next, Steve.
It's rough getting old. I'm Steve Aiden. I'm in charge of the fleet department, and I don't want to brag, Ed, but almost 26 years. We are a supporting role. We maintain all the vehicles, generators. I help out with departments ordering vehicles. I twist arms with vendors all the time. All those invoices that he was saying probably comes from me from ordering individual parts every day. We are starting to work in Folly Beach again, so I'm going to bring some little bit of money in for us. And got a great team. We do training every year, like Tamara was saying. I just did mine. So once a year, all of us go to Pierce training. So try to keep up with everything.
Team of 3, right?
Team of 3, a good team, the best team I've ever had here. Thanks to you guys.
And I have to brag on Steve. We, one of the things in our strategic plan was improving relations with neighboring organizations. And, he's taken on helping Folly Beach again, maintaining their vehicles. So, and it was just last week when they called him and wanted him to go look at something to make sure.
They wanted me to go down to Air National and check on one of their vehicles. They were having an argument between them, and I was able to work through it, help them out.
So what's the service status on our vehicles, the majority of them?
What's that?
What's the service status, maintaining?
Or service, like doing services on them?
What kind of standard are they? Are they on a good standard, grade?
Or ours?
Yeah.
Ours is good because if you look at my repair orders and stuff like that, majority of them are in-house. We very seldom send anything out anymore. It's pretty good. Good team.
Thanks,
Thank you,
Steve.
guys.
Thank you, Steve.
Moving right along, we've got 2 more before pizza. All right, Walter.
Tomorrow I begin my 12th year here, so tomorrow on the 14th. So, for any new commissioners here, I'm Walter Desmond. I'm the Solid Waste Director. I started here as a supervisor in 2013. I became the director in, I believe, 2017. And this is Jeff Nimmons. Jeff is our operations supervisor. Jeff is on the road all day handling the business, the daily business of checking regulations and you know, getting ahead of the vehicles and making sure everybody's doing what needs to be done. We currently have 18 pieces of equipment on the road, 3 rear loaders, 2 which will be spares coming up shortly, 3 knuckle booms, 2 that pick up C&D, 1 that picks up larger portions of yard debris. We have 6 dump trucks that work with the 3 loaders that pick up the yard debris. We currently have 2 ASLs on the road, 1 at the paint shop. Every year, we average about 6,200 tons of garbage that we collect during the course of the year, about 6,000 tons of yard debris, and about 1,800 tons of bulk debris, you know. And since we changed the regulations a couple of years ago, we've seen about between a 25 and 30% reduction in that number. We used to pick up close to 3,000, or between 26 and 2,700 tons a year. So we're down to 1,800. So that's been we're glad we did that. Back in 2016, we switched to 1 day a week pickup. I'm sure you all remember that transition, because boy, I certainly do. We will achieve our goal of fully automated collection within the next couple months. As soon as that truck gets here, we're going to let the paint wet cure for 3 or 4 hours, and then we're going to go get it stickered. Yeah, once that truck is on the road, we will be at full automation, fully automated collection. Those packers that I talked about earlier will be spares. The chances of all 3 of those trucks running every single day for a whole year without something happening is slim. So we have a backup plan. The backup plan is our rear loaders. We'll call the temp service, have them send some laborers down, and we'll keep the operation rolling. Since we've made a lot of these changes, once a week pickup, and automation, we've been able to reduce 9 full-time positions in the solid waste department. And it's been a long journey. The past 7 or 8 years, we've made a lot of positive changes in the department, a lot of regulation changes. We have a great staff. We have some of the most talented vehicle operators and heavy equipment operators that I've ever met. And, you know, it's not uncommon. You even see me buzzing around sometimes, or Jeff, you know, we're all hands on deck. You know, when we're short-staffed, we're out there, and that's what we got. Does anybody have any questions? Yes, ma'am.
Do you, how far do you have to haul? When you have to go all the way to interstate commerce?
The C&D goes to Palmetto Commerce.
Construction and-
Yes, yeah, the bulk debris. And the garbage goes to what's left of Bees Ferry. It's not a fun place up there right now, but
And how is the adjusted hours working for you?
excellent. It's working out very well. I see smiling faces that are making it home before 6 o'clock, especially those that live off the island. The commute gets rougher and rougher every year, and you know, we're out earlier now. We're clear of the roads before the school buses and everything else starts going on. So I have a lot less people wanting to kill me on a daily basis because they got stuck behind one of my trucks, you know, and so for 8 minutes of their time.
Refresh my memory, what caused the deduction, I guess, in the bulk debris? Was it the amount or
The
the
amount.
size?
Yes,
That's what I thought.
I mean, when I got here, I mean, my mind couldn't wrap around the size of the piles that we were picking up, and it's an expensive product to haul. And ask Bees Ferry, they made a mistake when we used to dump it there, and they made a mistake in their calculations, and they thought they had 13 years left on the landfills are divided into class 1 and class 2. Class 2 being, you know, like bulk debris, class 1 being the garbage. Their class 2 part of the landfill, they thought they had 13 years left on it. They had like 8 months. So, you know, it takes up a lot of room. It's expensive to haul, and we need to keep it real. I mean, that's all we've really done is ask people to be reasonable. You know, you can't tear down your 4-story house and chuck it on the side of the road. We just don't have
And
those
I
kind of
think we put
resources.
a lot back on the builders
Yes.
Get rid of their own waste?
Yes, I mean, that has been one of the original regulations in 1961, is that we do not take contractor debris.
Correct.
So, me and Jeff have had a wonderful time educating some people around here. But it is what it is, you know, and we present a united front out there, and, you know, there are no favors. You know, it's like, look, this is the way it is. It's across the board. It's for everybody. That's the way it is. Does anybody have any questions? Yes,
I
sir.
just want to say that you and Jeff and your team have been doing an amazing job.
Yes.
We appreciate that. It's been nice to be able to use my 100 years of doing this and be able to, you know, and to be able to use some of that to improve something. So it's been a good journey for all of us. Anything else?
We appreciate
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, last but not least.
Good evening. Good evening. I am Kendra Smith, the Director of Wastewater. I guess I got to give a little background. I guess everybody else did. I actually started my career here at the district about 16 years ago in wastewater as a construction supervisor. Left, did my thing, worked as an engineer, did government, did private, and I'm back. So I just want to give a quick recap of the projects that we have going on. Currently, we do have some projects that are happening soon. The end of the month, beginning of next month, middle of next month, we have some things kicking off, but just currently, right now, this is what we have going on. The Phase 5 project is done. It is complete. We have rehabbed about 99 manholes in our system. And we rehab these manholes to help with the I&I in the system, which helps us with treatment costs and all of that other stuff with Charleston Water. So that project is done. The Phase 6 wastewater rehab project actually includes the lining of sewer lines. And that project, as Tamara mentioned earlier, we're about to put that out for bid. So we're about to post it and get ready to bid that one out. Maybe by the end of the week. The Harborview Force Main project, that's a project that we're working with Charleston Water on together. That project is set to start soon. We're still waiting on materials to come in for that one. We have set up erosion and sediment control systems around the area before construction. And we have, I don't know if you guys have ridden by, but we do have our project sign out at Pump Station, I think it's 61, which is owned by Charleston Water. So it's right at the corner of Harborview and Waits. Clark's Point, we had groundbreaking last week. That project is underway. As of today, they finally set the manhole at the pump station, so we're moving forward. There was an issue of a lot of groundwater, as you guys know, in that area. They finally got it under control, and they were able to proceed today. So construction with that is moving forward. And that's all I got. Those are all the current projects that we have going on right now. Any questions?
At some point, could you distribute a list, or would y'all get a list together of all the pump stations, just so that all commissioners could, how many we got? We're up to like,
Well, we have 68 and one pending. This Clark's Point project is going to add one more pump station. But I can give you guys a list of pump stations, addresses, and where they're all at. So I can provide that for you. You're welcome. Anything else? Yes.
Do you have any leads on your vacancies?
I do. So currently, we have about 10 employees that are on staff. We have one starting next week, next Tuesday. We're hiring a new admin. We're currently hiring for a wastewater tech and another pump tech position. So we're growing. We're trying to fill the positions and grow the department. Fully staffed, we're about 15 people. So right now we're at 11 with the new admin coming next week. So we have a little ways to go, but not much. So we're We're churning along. Thanks to Star. She's amazing. She's a godsend. But yeah, so we're moving along. No problem. All right, thanks.
Thank you.
All right, well, if y'all want to go ahead and make your plate, and once y'all get settled, I'll ask the, yeah, sorry.
Our condolences.
So if y'all want to go ahead and make your plates, and once you get settled, I will just keep on going. Sounds like okay. Staff, please eat. You can eat and run, eat and take it with you, whatever y'all want to do. You're welcome.
A lot of food, it looks like. Is that 2 containers of salad?
That sounds,
I'll
wow.
let commissioners make their plates first so I can keep talking.